thank you guys for having me. I've totally enjoyed this group. It's fantastic. You know, it's just a light-hearted group. You just, you know, it's like have a really good meeting from here, and you sort of like really pumped when you leave this place, after, especially going down to urban and stuff like that. So what do we do here?
On the right-hand side.
The right-hand side, this one. Yep. So a little bit about me. I'm a blue, born in Taree, of course. You can tell by the colours. My first job, other than a paper boy, was a bank officer. So you can see why I fell into this. Did my first loan application in about 1974. That's 50 plus years ago, so I should see what I'm doing. Retired from the bank after Dad's 30 years and my 5. He was absolutely mortified when I went to AGC. They were a finance company. What? You're leaving the bank? Joined AGC Newcastle. Wow, now that was such a different from bank culture. Dad was more, I said that. Poached by Delphos Group as a business manager, and they were a finance writer for car finance. Eloped with a girlfriend at the time to the Gold Coast in '84, who I married quite some time later. 2 boys, 4 houses, and a fabulous divorce settlement. After various dealerships, ended up at Hinterland, Trident and Narang in 1994. Fell into Hinterland Money Solutions, and I can't see where that goes. Anyway, so I had the opportunity to buy the other shareholders out in late 2024, and which is I did. Now I am the boss, which is absolutely fabulous. I don't know why I didn't do it years ago. So, do you think I'm experienced, enthusiastic, empathetic? Absolutely. As I've been around the block twice or thrice, or is that wise? So, here's my grandson. These are my son, that's my first son and grandkids, that sort of thing. Isn't she adorable? Man, beautiful. And anyway, they're my family. There you go. Yeah, so we like hanging out. That's my partner. We like hanging out and music, stuff like that, and us travelling and that sort of thing. And this is me at an Elton John concert. It was fabulous. So, general advice warning for all those legal beagles. This is what we've got to tell you guys. Don't listen to me. Get your own advice. And I wasn't responsible. Something along those lines. So do you think I have to have all this stuff to be a finance broker? Absolutely. And I like this one down the bottom. Adorable. So, does that look like a person with all those attributes? Absolutely. I think that's your hat, isn't it? Oh, it's similar. Yeah, similar. So, how many times have you heard these? My bloody bank knocked me back. I've been banking with him forever. I should be able to walk in and they should be able to throw the money at me. Where's the loyalty got me from the bank? So the banks, as everyone would probably realise now, they don't worry about loyalty. Sorry, Tony, is that right?
Yeah, that's right.
I'll put him on the spot. That's why he had to leave.
Someone's changed the tune.
That's why he had to leave. Pull the rug from under me. So what do you need? What do you need me to help you get finance? A lot has changed since the finance world, since the Royal Commission. All banks and finances have altered their credit policies. These are still changing almost daily. How the hell can you people keep up with that? So it's an absolute minefield out there with lenders changing their appetites for different purposes, sometimes daily. So what we do is we have to keep up with our panel of lenders, and the whole idea of that is to recognise different credit criteria that they're changing, that sort of thing. So they might shut a door on one thing and then they might open another door on another thing and open up where they've got to be. So we're all over that. So the dreaded dirty words, everybody hates this. Interest rates. So nearly one of the first questions I get is, what rate am I going to get? So that is such a, like, how long's a piece of string? It depends on a whole heap of things. Depends on the risk involved and cost of funds. Finances are like any business. Risk is defined and broken down as follows, but not limited to: what are we funding? What's the purpose? Is it going to be secured? So that we're taking security over the goods, or we're not. So obviously, if we've got security over goods, it's a better bet for the financier to take on that debt. Whereas if it's unsecured, lending money on stuff like that, that they're not taking any security, just a guarantee of a director, they're going to charge a bit more for that. So is it going to be new, is it going to be used, or private sale or supplier? Strength of the business. Are the directors asset backed? Previous good track record. Affordability, GST registered or not? One of the first things I say to young blokes that are trying to start up, they say, you've got an ABN? Yeah, got an ABN. Great, fantastic. Are you GST registered? Nah. Why? So get GST registered, because when it comes to financing an application, that type of thing, if that person's GST registered, it opens more financiers for us to help you with. Even though you might be under the 75 grand threshold, that doesn't matter. Get GST registered. Type of industry, wholesale cost of funds from lenders, source of profit. So they've got to get the money for them to lend it to you. So they've got to make a bit of a profit out of it as well, otherwise it wouldn't be in business. So there's a bit to that question. If anyone who wants to know about interest rates and what they might get, just have a talk to me about it. That's the easiest way. So, common sense business lending, franchise finance specialist, startup asset finance, fit outs and refurbishments, business acquisitions, cash flow, unsecured, non-matrix assets. So I love doing these sorts of things, like oddball things that, like people, what sort of equipment is that? So I'm doing a tree muncher at the moment, which is one of those things that chew up big pine trees and stuff like that. So just stuff like that, just love that sort of stuff. Don't worry about that one. An important tip, be aware of credit reporting. All your repayment history is now recorded on your credit file. We can see late payments on things like credit cards and loans. So at least pay your minimum payments on time. That's the first thing we do, is we're going to do a credit check on you. Now, it's not actually hid on your credit file. We can actually have a bit of a look in your credit file, just see what's there, those sorts of things. So this is one of the main things that we look at first, which is where we're going to put that loan application. So if you've got a shit credit score, it's going to reflect on where we're going to go with it. If it's a fabulous score, we've got more options open, that sort of thing. So the credit file, if it's a shitty credit file, we're going to look at it and we're going to go, well, we need to fix that before we go and put the application, because it's only going to go bang. So we've got to prepare the thing so that when we put an application together and we present it to a financier, it's going to stick. So it's very seldom that a finance broker will put up a deal to somebody and then get a rejection. That is not a good thing. Total waste of time. So Tonka toys, I love finance and all this stuff. Bigger the better. So $500,000 truck, love that. Fantastic. Got one client at the moment, he's got 3 trucks with me and looking to replace his prime movers, and we're working out a strategy for how he's going to get out of those Scanias and get into Kenworths. We'll get it done. So a couple of solutions. How am I going for time?
No, you're fine.
So there's all sorts of scenarios that come there. This one here is pertinent. Real estate sole director company between her sold and pending settlement. So she was in between homes. So from a finance application point of view, she was actually renting at the time, so she wasn't asset backed. So she was, technically speaking, a renter, and therefore a financier is going to not look at that quite as good as if she was in a home. But, so all I had to do was present the situation, had to talk it through with, I think it was Metro Finance I did it with, which is, they're pretty competitive. And we got around it by talking to the lender and just demonstrating that we had this and that was her third thing, and she was able to drive her new car into a new home on settlement day. So it's just working through those various businesses. Oh, love doing caravan loans for business. So some tradies can't get accommodation. Like recently, the floods in Lismore, which was a good thing for tradies. They loved it because they were down there, plasterers down there, no accommodation in town. So where are they going to live? So a few of them were motivated and they thought, oh, I'll buy a caravan and make that into my accommodation and or site office. So we can get around those sorts of things, it's fine. Some of them have to give an accountant's declaration, so they're going to be using predominantly for business use, but most accountants love their clients and they'll do it. Yeah, true story. And I love talking to accountants. They're just so cool. Most of them are great, so it's great. And my perfect pair is generally any business. I haven't met any business on the planet that doesn't need money for something. I reckon I have all the bases covered. Please listen to anyone talking about an upgrade, an accident, breakdown, expansion, or complaint about running their business. Please, my great team, ask the question, do you need to borrow some money for that to help that make it happen? If the answer is yes, that's my perfect referral, guys. Money is one of the top conversations or complaints that people have. So members and guests, if you hear the word money, think Hinterland Money Solutions. That's my phone. That's where I operate from. And get your loan sooner with Spooner.
The Spooner.
Any questions?
Any questions? Yes, Corey?
You're talking about some of your strategies, so that, you know, sometimes there's things to fix in a credit report. Is there something we could all be doing that would enhance our credit report, so when it comes to doing things like that, where...
Have a look at your credit report every now and then and have a look at it.
Hey,
Don't be
have a
frightened.
look
There's sites you can go to, and if you want your credit report, I'll get it for you. So
And how do we know what a good credit rating is?
I'll let you know.
Yeah.
All right. Generally speaking, if it's in the if it's a number and it's in the green, it's all right. Whereas, so credit reports usually start with red, orange, yellow, green. So that type of thing. So with the credit report, it'll give us a report of where you've been to get credit, and we'll ask you, is that loan current? How did that happen? If it got rejected, why? All those sorts of things, because they're the sort of things that we've got to know before it goes. Credit report's a really great thing to have before we do it. It'll have to be the first thing you agree with that, Tone?
Yeah, you do it all the time.
You have to.
And one of the best things to do is set up a direct debit for a minimum repayment for your credit card every month.
Oh,
Because the
100%.
amount of people that miss credit card payments, like I'm dealing with a guy now who went overseas and locked himself out of his internet banking, and NAB wouldn't recognise because he was overseas. So he had 2 hits on his credit file. Bloody NAB, even though he had the money in his account.
Bloody nab.
Whereas if he could set up a minimum direct debit, it would have been paid. You can still pay it off every month, but just,
Yeah,
just
just-
a minimum repayment taken out.
Yeah, don't be frightened to have a look at your credit score, because then, you know, when it comes to, it makes our job easier when you go to get credit,
Yeah.
if you know something that should be there. And then there's also those sort of people out there that go, oh no, that didn't happen. Oh no, I haven't got that. And then you hit them with it and you go, oh, is that still there? Like, you know, it's just,
Yeah, so
it's just guesswork.
Tony does housing loans and mortgages,
And
etc.
Leach would know that too.
Yeah, that's right. Nita would know that. So it's,
Mm.
you know, if you want a loan in some shape or form, you've got houses or anything else you can do. But what
So
they're
there's a
saying,
lot
they've
of-
done it for a long time, so it makes sense.
So there's a lot of prep in the background before we actually try and put an application together. We're just not going to go,
Because
oh,
you want to get a tick at the end.
yeah. What's the
Get
point?
paid.
What's the
Yeah.
point of putting it up if it's going to get
No,
knocked
I
back?
understand.
You know, we
Yes,
might-
Alban?